There was a rope across my driveway. Not just any rope, one of those velvet ones you see at fancy events. And where my old feed been used to sit, a valet stand. On my porch stood a woman in red heels, holding a mic like she was hosting a charity gala, not selling off my land. She was the head of the neighborhood association, Clara Monroe, and she was auctioning my ranch like it was up for grabs at a Napa wine estate. If I hadn't come home early from a work trip, I might have come back to find my name scraped off the mailbox. I was only supposed to be gone 5 days. Quick consulting gig in Denver. I left Will, my ranch hand, in charge. When I left, everything was in order. Fences tight, animals fed, gates locked. But when I turned off what used to be Route 12 and saw a parade of electric cars parked on the gravel, I knew something was wrong. The sign said Sagebrook Estates Preview Event, hosted by Ridgeview HOA. And there she was, Clara Monroe in a navy jacket and lipstick red enough to stop traffic. She barely looked up as I pulled in. Lot 6, sunset views, original outbuildings, spring-fed creek. Bidding starts at $675,000. Lot 6 was my backyard. I parked hard and stepped out. I made it 10 paces before some college intern in a name badge stepped in front of me. "Sir, this is a closed event." I looked him in the eye. "You're standing on my land." Before he could stammer a reply, Clara raised her voice. "Security, please remove this man. He's not authorized." "Authorized?" I shouted. "I own this place." She marched over, all calm and fake sweet. "Mr. McLean, you've been gone more than 30 days. Under Ridgeview Bylaw 710, this parcel is dormant. Redevelopment proceedings have begun." I was gone 5. We count activity, not days. Then came the flashing lights, Sheriff's Department. Clara pointed like she was on a stage. "He's disturbing a sanctioned event." Deputy Silva got out, looked at me, then back to the crowd. "You got proof of ownership?" I handed over the laminated deed I kept in the glove box. He read it, nodded. "Looks legit." He turned to Clara. "Unless you've got something that says otherwise, this isn't your land to sell." The mood changed. Attendees started whispering. Clara stiffened. "This is a civil matter. Lawyers will sort it." But as she turned to leave, she leaned in. "You haven't seen the last of me." I watched her heels dig holes in my front lawn as the crowd started to fizzle out. Brochures were scattered, some chairs still flipped over. One guy tried to swipe a flyer with my name on it. I let him. I had bigger things to focus on, like the original deed buried in my dad's old war chest inside. Under medals and photos was a thick file with one page marked in red ink. "Owner maintains sole right of land use veto in any contested jurisdiction." That word, veto, was about to ruin Clara's week. Just then, Will texted me, "Boss, she's calling you a squatter. Just hit the HOA list." I stood there on the porch, folder in one hand, phone in the other. It wasn't about the ranch anymore. It was personal now. Next morning, I couldn't shake the image. People sipping Chardonnay under my cottonwoods. Walking the fence line with my coffee, I passed abandoned brochures. One flyer showed a rendering of my barn turned into a yoga retreat. Solar panels on the roof. I crumpled it. Whoever designed that never pulled a calf from a breech birth in the snow. But Clara? She didn't care about land. She cared about loopholes. That's what made her dangerous. My first stop? County records. Clerk was a guy named Troy I'd helped once when he got his truck towed by mistake. "Troy," I said, "need anything filed on parcel 12B in the last 2 weeks. Especially by Ridgeview HOA. He typed. "Damn," he muttered. Clara had filed a redevelopment claim 48 hours after I left town. She'd looped my ranch into a new zoning proposal, squeezed it in through an old boundary clause tied to a district vote I'd never even heard about. Worse, she'd filed an intent to convert notice. It didn't hold legal weight, but it could freeze land improvements, delay permits, and spook the banks. "No signature from you?" Troy asked. "Not one." He leaned in. "You've pissed off the wrong paperwork tyrant." I took the printouts and drove straight to see my dad's old attorney, Paul Teller. 81 years old, half-deaf, sharp as a bear trap. He looked up as I walked in. "This about Monroe? How'd you guess?" "Your father warned me about her kind. HOA with a clipboard and a god complex." Paul laid it out. She was trying to stretch jurisdiction by misinterpreting an old map. Said since Route 12 passed near the northern fence, the ranch was adjacent and therefore subject to HOA development. Total stretch, Paul said, but enough to jam you in legal mud. I went home that night and dug through the storage closet. After hours of flipping through water permits, grazing leases, and fencing invoices, I found it. A map from 1983 that showed an old canal slicing off a tiny sliver of my southern field. It had never been reabsorbed into the main property, which meant, legally, it wasn't zoned the same. That unzoned slice, that was my ace. Clara missed it. She'd filed claims over unified land. But this wasn't unified. I grinned and whispered to the empty room. You left the corner unguarded. And corners, well, they're where empires crack. It's been 6 months since the showdown, and the dust has finally settled. The ranch is quiet again, not silent, just peaceful. The kind of quiet you earn, not the kind that's forced on you by a velvet rope and a bad agenda. Clara Monroe vanished not long after the hearing. One day, she was leading redevelopment meetings and polishing her brand new community vision, and the next, her name was gone from the HOA website. No press release, no farewell speech, just a footnote. Someone said she's consulting in Phoenix now. Fitting. That place always did like its illusions shiny. As for Ridgeview HOA, it still exists, but barely. 3 of their board members resigned. One tried to run for city council and lost in a landslide. The rest keep their heads down and their mouths shut. Every now and then, someone from the neighborhood stops by the ranch, just to say thanks. Not because I saved the land for them, but because I proved it could be done. We replanted the southern field. Sunflowers. Tall, bold, and stubborn. Every time I walk past them, I remember what it took to keep this place mine. Patience, grit, and the kind of stubborn that doesn't look impressive until it's the only thing left standing. The new county ordinance? They named it after me, the McLean Clause. I didn't ask for that. But if it helps stop another Clara from steamrolling someone else, I'll wear the name with pride. Let remind people that just because someone prints a map doesn't mean they get to rewrite history. I still get letters. Folks from all over, small towns, suburbs, old homesteads, telling me about their own fights. Some won, some lost. But all of them just wanted what I did. To be left alone, to work their land, to live without having to ask permission from someone who's never touched a shovel. And that's the real victory. Not just holding on to the land, but proving that the paper pushers and power chasers don't always win. Not when the land has a voice. Not when that voice fights back. Because here's the truth no bylaw can erase. This land remembers who stood for it, and it remembers who tried to sell it out.